Tottenham face Manchester City on Saturday evening in a game that could still have a significant sway over the Champions League race. City outclassed Spurs the last time the two sides met, beating them easily at the Etihad Stadium by a 4-1 scoreline. It went against pre-match suggestions that Spurs had a chance against Pep Guardiola's side. But Mauricio Pochettino will have a plan up his sleeve, having inflicted Guardiola's first defeat in English football with a 2-0 win at White Hart Lane last season. Sportsmail has taken a look at how Spurs can upset City again and complete a rather miserable 2 weeks for City. Copy the Liverpool model as Sportsmail flagged up before the game against Manchester United. There's only one team that has really got Manchester City's number this season, Liverpool. Their G-Gen press philosophy is perfect for countering what City do, and it works especially well against them because of how high the likely champions move up the pitch when they transition from defense to attack. That means that if a team can break them down in that transitional phase, it gives them a rapid opportunity to convert their own defense into an attack, and that is the moment at which City are most able to be exploited. They have too much control otherwise. It also speaks for the fact that simple counter-attacking does not work against City. If you sit back and let them come onto you, they will eventually wear you down. Not only that, but Pep Guardiola's side are the masters of a cynical foul when a team is bursting up the pitch. They know when it is important to take someone down, and when it is worth picking up a yellow card. That means traditional counter-attacking is often out of the question. And it means, generally speaking, a high-risk strategy is more likely to pay off. Sure, it may also lead to a colossal defeat, but it's also the only way to beat City. It's why they were blown away by Manchester United when Jose Mourinho's side shifted gears and started playing 10 yards further up the field. Go at City and you have a chance. Sit back and you're just inviting the inevitable. But do it deeper on the field. Good news, Spurs. If there's one thing your team are cut out for, it is intense pressing. Mauricio Pochettino's initial philosophy was based around winning the ball high up the field by forcing the opposition into errors. Admittedly, he has changed his outlook slightly this campaign. There is far more willingness to sit back and allow teams to have the ball. Previously they looked to cause errors with balls into the channels that defenders struggled to react to. Now they use their midfield pair to bully the opposition and win it back at that phase of the transition up the field. It was done particularly well against Real Madrid, where they sat off the defenders but very quickly closed down the Spanish side's midfielders when they received the ball. Not only that, but Spurs are adept at playing with a high line of their own, which is ideal for a game against City. It constricts the space available to City's midfielders, and stops them from using their eye for a pass to carve them open. If they can make the pitch smaller, which they have shown a knack for doing, and then forcibly win the ball back when it is played into potentially dangerous areas, they have a chance against City. Which will help avoid the same mistakes as last time. Pressing midfielders rather than defenders would probably work better for Spurs too, who got caught out with their overly high press the last time these two sides faced one another. City posted their lowest possession figure of the season, to that point, when the two sides met at the Etihad. They also had their lowest pass accuracy. They circumvented the press, using Ederson to launch the ball long and score goals and make moves with only 3 or 4 passes. Which is why Spurs would be better off following their own model from the Madrid game. Use examples from Pochettino's past. Espanyol were bottom of La Liga when Mauricio Pochettino took over in 2009. Barcelona were on their way to a treble. In his 7th game he went to the Nou Camp with an idea. He later recalled, the plan was to press high and to surprise them. I remember Barcelona had Ronaldinho, Eto'o, Henry, Yaya Touré, Abidal, Puyol, and Iniesta, all in their prime, and they were surprised how we played. Everyone used to sit back against them. As Guardiola said years after, there are teams that wait for you and teams that look for you. Espanyol look for you. They won 2-1, the first time they had managed to beat their rivals at the Nou Camp in a generation. While, as mentioned above, the ludicrously high press might not be the way to beat this City side, it suggests Pochettino has enough about him to know how to take a Guardiola team apart. No need to fear Sergio Aguero. There are few teams in the Premier League who will approach facing Sergio Aguero with much positivity. But Spurs have felt the brunt of his goal-scoring ability pretty heavily since he joined Manchester City. He has scored 10 goals in his 12 matches against them in the Premier League and provided 2 assists. Luckily for Spurs, he is not available for Saturday evening's game, and that hugely reduces City's attacking danger. And Spurs' exceptionally physical defenders will benefit from playing against a player like Raheem Sterling or Gabriel Jesus. An oddity of Aguero is that he tends to handle battles. City's other strikers are less cut out for it. The fullback question. One issue for Spurs is the fact City's fullbacks will have them on toast if it comes down to a battle of athleticism. Both Ben Davies and Kieran Trippier are more technically and defensively gifted than they are given credit for, But they do have slight issues on a more physical front. Which is where they need to be careful. They will likely be up against Raheem Sterling and Leroy Sane, two players who can demolish them in the right circumstances. There's an issue on City's part too. Kyle Walker has not been at his best recently, far too easily dragged out of position during opposition attacks. And, on the left, City have not settled since Fabian Delph's most recent injury. Spurs could find joy down the flanks as a result. They've done it before. Can they do it again? Dele Alli added to an Alexander Kolarov own goal as Spurs inflicted the first defeat the Guardiola era in October 2016. The City boss had won his previous 6 matches and 10 of his previous 11 in charge when Spurs underlined their own title credentials with victory at White Hart Lane. The England international has scored against Chelsea, Real Madrid and Liverpool already this season. Can he repeat the trick against City at Wembley?